Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
Have you ever felt the pain of being ignored, not through harsh words, but through silence? That quiet ache that creeps into places you didn't even know were still tender. It's strange, isn't it? How silence can echo louder than shouting, reaching straight into the chambers of your soul. You start to wonder if you did something wrong, if maybe you're not worth much at all. But here's the truth. When someone ignores you, it's not always a punishment. Sometimes it's a message, a sign that they were never meant to walk the full road with you. When people leave you in silence, it's not just absence, it's revelation. God often uses absence to expose what presence was hiding. We get so comfortable with people's company that we overlook their true intentions. Not everyone who walks beside you is walking for you. And when they grow silent, that's not your cue to fall apart. It's your chance to open your eyes. Because some people can sit at your table, smile in your face, and still never pray for your breakthrough. Some laugh with you, yet secretly celebrate your fall. Others keep you close, not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of what you might become if you ever broke free. So sometimes, God sets you free by letting them ignore you. Because truthfully, it's hard to walk away from someone who still speaks sweetly. When the silence finally settles, the truth becomes clear, without the noise, without the excuses. God doesn't always speak through thunder. Sometimes, He whispers through stillness. When that person stops replying, stops showing up, stops checking in, it's more than their silence. It's God raising a red flag. It's not that you were too much, and it's not that you weren't enough. Your spirit simply outgrew their comfort zone. Instead of facing your growth, they retreat into quiet. We often plead for clarity when it's already standing right in front of us. We crave closure, forgetting that sometimes silence is closure. We want explanations, goodbyes, reasons. But not every departure comes wrapped in kindness. Some people will vanish without a word. They won't call, they won't explain, they'll just fade away. But you don't need their speech when God's already given you a sermon. Their absence is your answer. Too often we cling to relationships because of history, not because they're healthy. We say, but we've known each other for years, as if years guarantee loyalty. Yet time doesn't always reveal truth, testing does. And when life tests you, when loss comes, when pain strikes, when you rise and evolve, people's true hearts are revealed. Those who were only seasonal will start ignoring you the moment your season no longer serves them. And yes, that realization hurts. But it also heals, because now you see clearly who was riding with you and who was riding on you. Now you know who clapped for your success and who clapped because they thought you'd fall. Now you know who loves you for who you are, not for what you bring. Now that you know the truth, you're free. Free to walk lighter. Free to stop shrinking yourself just to keep someone from staying. Free to stop replaying conversations with people who were never meant to understand you. Let me tell you something that will bring you peace. People who are truly meant to walk with you will not ignore you. They won't play games with your heart or make you guess where you stand. They won't make you feel invisible when you were born to shine. When someone is meant to walk your road, they show up, consistently. Even when words fail them, their presence will not. Love doesn't hide behind silence. Loyalty doesn't vanish with distance. And commitment doesn't crumble when applause fades. So if someone is ignoring you right now, don't chase, don't beg, don't shrink. Don't twist yourself to win back their attention. You are not an interruption in someone's story. If you are a divine assignment and they can't see it, then let them walk. Let them ignore you. Let them go. Their silence doesn't change your calling, and their absence doesn't cancel your purpose. You are still chosen, still loved, still destined for greatness. When someone pulls away, when they go quiet, it's natural for your heart to race, for your mind to spiral. You replay every word, searching for what you did wrong, wondering how you could have made them stay. But maybe that silence isn't punishment, it's providence. Because sometimes, when people go silent, it's not so you can hear them, but so you can finally hear God. We rarely realize how much noise we carry, not just in the world, but within. The voices of others often drown out the voice that matters most. We spend hours checking our phones, waiting for a reply, chasing after those who've left, instead of listening to the one who's been waiting all along. It's in the stillness that heaven speaks, not in drama, not in chaos, not in the back and forth of emotions. God waits until everything else fades before he steps in, because he knows what we often forget. We don't truly listen until we're quiet enough to hear. That person ignoring you right now, their silence may feel like rejection, but it could be divine redirection. Maybe their silence isn't a wound, it's a window. A window opening your spirit to something deeper. It's as if God is saying, now that you've stopped chasing them, let me show you who you really are. God is not the author of confusion, but sometimes he allows silence so he can speak clarity. When you're surrounded by constant noise, opinions, and distractions, his still small voice can't be heard. But when the voices fade, when the phone stops ringing, when the attention disappears, that's when you start to lean in. That's when prayer becomes real again. That's when your heart tunes to the one frequency that can calm the storm within. Many people fear silence because it forces them to face what they've been avoiding. But don't fear it. Embrace it. Let it teach you, heal you, and reset you. The absence of others often becomes the presence of God. The silence of people can be the invitation of heaven. You may not have their words, but you still have his wisdom. You may not receive their approval, but his approval still stands. You may not understand why they stopped talking, but you can trust the one who never stopped speaking over you. He speaks peace when the world brings panic. He speaks truth when others give you silence. And his voice never fails. Sometimes, in the middle of being ignored, you finally begin to hear what you were too distracted to notice before. In the quiet, you begin to hear it. That gentle nudge telling you to let go of unhealthy attachments. That whisper reminding you that you're worth more than how they treated you. You start hearing the strength of your own voice, the one you gave away trying to keep someone else close. The silence of people reveals whether your trust was built on them or built on God. It shows you if you were leaning on their approval or standing on his promise. When people are talking, it's easy to drown in their words. But when they stop, you begin to remember the word that never fails. You open the Bible again. You pray, not out of habit, but from the depth of your soul. You stop performing and start listening. You may feel alone, but you're not. God isn't distant because people are. He's not silent because others have gone quiet. He is near to the brokenhearted and draws closest in the stillness. So don't fill the silence with worry. Fill it with worship. Don't rush to make noise. Learn to rest in the quiet. That's where he meets you. This moment of being ignored might just be the most sacred moment of your life. In the hush of heartbreak, you'll finally hear your healing. In the absence of their voice, you'll recognize the presence of his. What you hear from God in the silence will be stronger, deeper, and more lasting than anything they could have ever said. When someone ignores you, it can feel as if the world suddenly shrinks around you. You start doubting yourself, wondering, why me? What did I do wrong? But here's the truth you need to hold on to. When someone chooses to ignore you, it doesn't define your worth. It reveals theirs. Too often we let others' actions measure our value. We let their silence decide who we are. But how people treat you says far more about their own hearts than it does about your worth. When someone looks right past you, when they act as if you don't exist, that's not a verdict on your significance. It's a reflection of their character. Think about it. A person who truly sees your worth will never ignore you. They might be busy, they might be distracted, but they won't make you feel invisible. Because when someone values you, even in silence, their heart stays connected to yours. When they ignore you, what you're really seeing is their inability to cherish what they can't understand. Their silence is a mirror reflecting their own fears, limitations, or selfishness. Some people are simply too small to hold the greatness you carry. They're trapped in their insecurities, blinded by their own struggles. Their decision to ignore you says less about you and everything about their brokenness. It's easy to get lost in that pain, but don't confuse their silence with your failure. It's not a verdict on who you are. It's a reflection of who they are. There's a difference between being invisible and being ignored. Being invisible means they never truly knew you. Being ignored means they did see you, but chose to turn away. That choice belongs to them, not you. So don't rush to fix it by changing yourself. Don't dim your light or silence your voice to make them comfortable. Your worth isn't in their hands. It's in the hands of the one who created you, who calls you by name, and knows your heart better than anyone ever will. You were made to shine, not to hide because someone refused to look. Remember this. God's love for you doesn't depend on who notices you or how often they speak to you. He doesn't keep score of how many times you've been ignored or overlooked. His eyes remain on you even when others turn away. His love stays constant when human affection fades. When someone ignores you, it's a painful reminder that human love is fragile, but divine love is endless. You were never meant to live for the approval of everyone you meet. Some will walk away. Some will ignore you. Some will make you feel small. But the value God places on you is beyond measure. When your worth is anchored in Him, the world's rejection loses its power to define you. And here's something you need to remember. Ignoring someone is often a shield. It's how people protect themselves from facing their own issues. Sometimes their silence is just avoidance, an escape from confrontation, vulnerability, or responsibility. It's easier for them to pretend you don't exist than to do the hard work of connection and reconciliation. Their silence may wound you, but it often speaks more about their fears and limits than your flaws. You don't have to carry the weight of their inability to care or His purpose for your life is far too great to be derailed by human neglect. When someone ignores you, yes, it hurts, but it doesn't define you. It only reveals whose opinion truly matters and whose never did. Sometimes, when someone ignores you, it feels like a door slamming shut without warning. You're caught off guard, left searching for answers. You wonder what changed. Why did they pull away? But often, silence tells a story words never could. It reveals the truth that was hiding beneath the surface all along. There's a difference between being attached and being truly aligned. In life, not every connection is created equal. Some people come into your world out of convenience. They're attached to what you offer, your time, your energy, your attention. They stay because it suits them for a season, because you fill a space or need in their lives. But when that need fades, so does their presence. Their attachment was conditional, tied to benefit, not belief. Alignment, however, runs deeper. Alignment means walking the same path with purpose and conviction. It's when two hearts connect through shared values and vision, not through temporary circumstances. When you're aligned with someone, their support doesn't shift with the wind. Their presence remains steady because it's rooted in commitment, not convenience. So when someone suddenly withdraws or goes silent, it reveals where they truly stood. It shows whether their connection was mere attachment or genuine alignment. If they disappear when life gets hard, when you grow beyond what they expected, or when you no longer serve their needs, it's clear they were never aligned with your journey. They were simply attached to what you represented at that moment. It hurts to see it, but some people were never walking with you. They were just riding on your path. They were passengers, not partners. And when the ride became rough or stopped benefiting them, they stepped off. Their silence and withdrawal reflect their limits and lack of loyalty. But here's the beauty in it. When those who are merely attached walk away, they make room for those who are truly aligned to arrive. It opens space for relationships built on respect, shared purpose, and genuine love. It frees you from false expectations and invites you to walk with those whose steps match your own. This separation isn't punishment, it's provision. It's God's way of pruning your life so that only what bears fruit remains. It's a refining process, a way of clearing distractions and draining influences so your purpose can truly grow. The silence of those who are only attached is a sign that God is preparing you for deeper, more meaningful connections, ones that will sustain you through both abundance and drought. When you grasp this truth, the pain of being ignored begins to lose its grip. You start to see it as a gift, not a loss. You realize not everyone who came close was meant to stay close. Some entered your life as lessons, not lifetimes. Their departure teaches discernment, how to guard your heart and value alignment over attachment. And with that discernment comes freedom. Freedom from chasing approval. Freedom from forcing relationships that were never meant to be. Freedom from wearing yourself thin for people who never planned to walk beside you. When you embrace this truth, you stop questioning your worth. When someone ignores you, you simply recognize they were never aligned with your destiny. Your journey is too sacred to be crowded by those who only seek to benefit from it. It's too important to waste energy on people who lack the heart to travel with you. When they leave, it's a sign to refocus on those willing to walk the long road, through both victory and struggle. So when you find yourself ignored or abandoned, don't see it as failure. See it as separation, the dividing line between attachment and alignment. And trust that this separation is necessary for your growth and for the fulfillment of God's plan for your life. You're not losing what was meant for you. You're being released from what was never meant to stay. And in that release, you'll find peace, clarity, and the strength to move forward. When someone ignores you, yes, it cuts deep. The silence feels like a wound that refuses to heal. It's natural to hurt, to question if you're somehow less because they turned away. Here's a truth that can change everything. Being ignored, though painful, often pushes you closer to your purpose. It forces you to grow in ways you never would if life had stayed easy and comfortable. Pain has a strange way of shaping us. It carves out the spaces where strength begins to take root. When someone turns away, when their attention fades, you're left standing alone, with your thoughts, your dreams, and your God. And in that quiet, you discover a strength you never knew existed. Think back to the moments when life felt impossible, when doors closed, when opportunities slipped away, when people walked out instead of in. Those weren't just moments of loss. They were the ones that built your character. They were the seasons that taught you resilience. In those times, you learned to depend not on human approval, but on the steady hand of God guiding you forward. So often, we chase the need to be seen, heard, and validated that we forget the truest validation comes from within, from the one who created us. When people ignore you, it strips away the noise and forces you to meet yourself again. That can be uncomfortable, even frightening, but it's also freeing, because it means you've stopped living for their approval and started living for your purpose. You might feel alone when ignored, but you're never truly alone. God sees every tear, hears every unspoken prayer, and understands every ache within you. He uses these quiet seasons to draw you closer, to teach you lessons that only solitude can reveal. It's in these moments that you build the foundation strong enough to carry you through what's ahead. Being ignored can become a hidden blessing. It awakens the talents, passions, and gifts that were buried beneath your need for validation. When the applause fades, you begin to hear the whisper, the quiet voice within that speaks of your destiny, your calling, your purpose. And that voice is louder, purer, and truer than any crowd's approval. The journey toward purpose is never easy. It demands faith, persistence, and sometimes the courage to walk through seasons of silence. Those silent seasons are never empty. They're full of growth. They stretch you, shape you, and prepare you for what God has planned ahead. The pain of being ignored is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a greater chapter. Remember, some of the most powerful stories of breakthrough began in moments of silence and rejection. Those who ignored the noise of the world, who refused to be defined by absence, are the ones who changed history. They turned pain into fuel, silence into a classroom, and setbacks into stepping stones. So, if you feel ignored today, don't let that silence steal your hope. Let it propel you forward. Let it push you to work harder, dream bigger, and trust deeper. Your purpose waits on the other side of this pain. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. The same God who carried you this far will carry you all the way through. Keep going. Keep believing. Keep growing. Sometimes the greatest blessings come wrapped in the pain of being ignored. When someone ignores you, your first instinct is to chase them, to call, to text, to seek answers, to demand attention. But chasing only pulls you further from the peace and purpose God has for you. Real strength doesn't come from the noise of pursuit. It's born in the quiet power of growing in silence. When you stop needing validation from others, when you stop begging for someone's presence, you begin to walk in freedom, a freedom that changes everything. There's a deep lesson in learning to stay silent in the face of rejection. It's not giving up. It's not defeat. It's rising above the chaos of emotion and stepping into a place of calm confidence. When you stop reacting to being ignored, you reclaim your power. You stop letting someone else's neglect control your emotions or your future. Growing in silence means trusting God's timing and His plan, even when the world feels cold or distant. It's embracing solitude, not as loneliness, but as a sacred space for transformation. When others fall silent, fill that space with prayer, reflection, and renewal. In that quiet, you begin to hear God's voice more clearly, no longer drowned out by the noise of human drama. There is power in stillness. The Bible reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness isn't weakness. It's strength born from trusting His sovereignty. When you learn to be silent in pain, You open the door to divine wisdom. You start seeing life from a higher perspective. You grow in patience, perseverance, and peace. Sometimes silence is the best response to being ignored. It guards your heart, preserves your dignity, and allows you to heal without needing anyone's apology or explanation. In that silence, you rediscover your true voice, the one not dependent on others to speak, but grounded in who you are in God. This journey isn't easy. It demands faith, discipline, and the courage to resist filling every quiet space with noise. But once you embrace stillness, you begin to grow stronger, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. You develop a resilience no rejection can shake. And as you grow in silence, you start attracting people who honor your peace and respect your worth. You no longer chase after those who ignore or overlook you. Instead, you walk with those who value your presence and nurture your growth. Your silence becomes a filter, separating distractions from genuine connection. Remember, silence is not emptiness. It's fullness waiting to unfold. It's the soil where faith takes root and blossoms. It's the sacred space where God prepares you for greater things. When you learn to be still in the face of being ignored, you are never alone. You stand in the strength of the one who never ignores, who sees your pain, and who will never leave you. So don't chase those who walk away. Don't cry out for those who choose silence. Embrace it as a divine invitation to grow, to wait, and to trust. Because in that silence, you will find the peace that surpasses all understanding. And that peace will carry you through every season ahead. May you stay strong, be at peace, and keep growing. Wishing you health, happiness, and remember to subscribe to Mindset Daily for more inspiring messages.